Hi, I'm Jess and today I have a book review of Zeros by Scott Westerfeld. I read this for mine and Mel's book of the month and we both gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It was so good. I recommend this book to anybody who enjoys any sort of supernatural fiction and the films X-Men and the TV series Heroes, because it is very, very like that sort of genre and it's very, very good. It's set around these kids who have powers, and their powers are so individual. They're not like invisibility and like casual stuff like that. They're very different. The main character sort of, like they're all very central and we get their points of view. But the main character sort of is called Scam, and he's called this because his power is that he has a voice that can take control of his own voice, that knows things that he couldn't possibly know and knows how to get somebody to do whatever he wants them to do, so he sort of scams them. And it's really interesting, his power, and also the way that other people's powers work. So the powers the characters have are someone who can influence people around them, mostly in large crowds, someone called Crash who can crash electrical equipment, someone called Flicker who is blind and she can transport herself into other people's eyes and see through their eyes if there's somebody there, and a guy called Anonymous who is... Anonymous was my favourite character, and I felt so bad for him the whole time because he is a character with the power of the fact that he's sort of invisible but sort of not, because the point is he's not invisible, people just forget him, so if there's enough people in the room they don't notice he's there. If it's one-on-one, he can sort of get their attention, but if there's enough people in the room, none of them will notice that he's there. And as soon as they look away from him and their attention is taken away from him, they forget him. There was a heartbreaking story about his family and why he doesn't live with them. I won't spoil anybody, but it was heartbreaking. And me and Mel were just like messaging each other like, oh, it's so sad. I love him so much. Like, he's a potential book boyfriend because he is just so sad, and I can't wait to read more about him in the next books in the series. And it's written by Scott Westerfeld and 2 pretty unknown authors. It's a bit annoying that their names are in like small letters on the cover, but I don't know who they are at all. I've forgotten their names. That's how much Scott Westerfeld is. I just advertised as the author of this book. It's so good. The characters like bounce off each other really well, and I think it really gave us a good idea of the history between them, because Scam had fallen out with all the others quite far behind us picking up the story, and just sort of got back to talking with them at the beginning of the story, and it was really interesting how they allowed us to see the dynamic between them based on what had happened that made them fall out in the first place, and sort of casually brought up along the way, like not giving us a lot of clues, and then sort of just telling us along the way what he did to make them fall out with him, and how his power affected his relationships with other people, and it was really, really great to see. It was also really action-packed. Like at the beginning, it starts with a mission. The Zeros, they go on missions to help people and train their powers, and they go on this mission to save Scam, and it was so good. It just made your heart pump and it got you into the story, and it was great. And I was really scared that it was going to be the only scene like that, but there's another one at the end that is similar to that, and there's one in the middle that is also quite similar, and it's like makes your heart race, makes you want to turn the page even faster just to find out what happens, and it was great. I definitely recommend anybody pick it up when it's out. I think it's out in September, but I'm not too sure. I got it for a review from NetGalley. It's just amazing. I just really, really enjoyed it. I went into it with quite low expectations, and it came out of 5 out of 5 stars. So I'm just so happy with how much I enjoyed it. It was so good. So that was my review of Zeros by Scott Westerfeld, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.